This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded January 20th, 2015, episode 233, Unzymotic, Ursidae, Upbuilding.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
I'm back from holidays.
Nice. How'd it go?
It was all right. It's never long enough.
Of course.
Had to get back to the real world, you know.
Well, you go on holidays sometimes. Do you want, can I sell you a camera?
What?
Yeah, I have a camera I could sell you. It's actually mounted on your face. I don't need it anymore.
The Google Glass. What have they done? They've cancelled production. What's the story there?
So I don't know. I got some email from that. And there's been a bunch of stuff in the news about it too. But basically, it's like apparently they've been selling them this whole time, and they said, well, we're not going to be selling it anymore, and they handed over the whole program to the guy they hired when they bought Nest. Tony, is it Fidel? I don't know his last name.
Right, name rings a bell.
Yeah,
right.
But basically the designer guy that started Nest, and they're basically like, "Yep, we'll see you when we see you," kind of thing, and that's it. I mean, like, at least publicly. I mean, previously they had talked about moving away from the TI chips they have in there. I think they had the what was on the Beagle bone? I think it was something like, no, maybe not that one, but
the
3400. Yeah, the OMAP. Yeah, I think it was the OMAP.
Right. Yep.
And they recently.
Why are they moving away from the processor? What's that going to gain them?
I don't know. I think it was. I saw like a month or two ago that they had announced the move to Intel, and I think that they said because of the advantages of the low power stuff, because they're on some new process. Oh, right,
that'd probably be the Intel Quark processor.
Yeah, maybe.
I would be guessing.
I don't remember. I'll try and I'll find the thing for the show notes, but I don't remember why. So
anyway, they're dropping like support, like actually developing new cool little apps for it and all that sort of stuff. It's all
I mean, that's been slowing down anyways. It's just it's just done. So
yep.
No surprises.
So there you go. That was one of the most hyped things ever.
No,
Google freaking Glass.
I'd say so. I said from the beginning that I think it was kind of like Segway, that it was like, it's this new technology and it's going to have all these great uses, and it definitely was hyped, but I don't think it was hyped as much. And but it's just going to find these really niche uses that.
It wasn't hyped much. They had people jumping out of freaking airplanes at the launch, landing on the roof and then coming down. I mean,
that's true. Yeah,
geez,
that's true.
What do you freaking want? Just like a SpaceX launch or something?
I don't know. No, that's true. Yeah, and I guess they had that barge and everything. So, I don't know. Personally, I think as a user, as a continuing owner, it's gonna find commercial uses. Not commercial, sorry, industrial uses. And I've been telling that to everyone I talk to about it. It's just like, got a guy going out to the field. If you ruggedize this thing a bit more, send a guy out to the field, get some standard operating procedures, stuff like that. Maybe build it into a hard hat instead of having it built, actually just in glasses, that kind of thing. Like that, that's legit. That's really legit. And that's the kind of stuff where there's a lot of money there too. You think about like all of the oil fields that are up in North Dakota now, in the States, like there's just money hand over fist up there. It's just crazy. So maybe less so with the oil prices dropping, but whatever. And other things like doctors, there's a bunch of startups that are using it for doctors. Buddy, one of my buddies has a doctor that has it as well, and he loves it for that kind of stuff, just because there's a lot of, if you're trying to be a human being and you have to stop and write stuff down or type stuff, it's just that user interaction stuff is really tough. Now, obviously some people are probably sitting there laughing at me thinking, yeah, you're a human being with a computer on your face, but I'd say that's better than turning and typing it on the keyboard. So it's kind of a balance there. And then flight attendants, stuff like that.
this reminds me. I tweeted this the other day. I'll have to find the link to it, but there's yet another bloody Kickstarter campaign, right? It's a personal home robot. I can't remember the name. I'm currently scrolling through my Twitter list. Yeah, you saw it. Okay, yeah, and like I'm looking at them going, oh, groan, like. Like, what does it do? Like, it's just going to be a useless toy that gets in the way. I can picture you, like, playing with it for a couple of days and then just kicking the bloody thing aside because it's so freaking annoying or whatever, or just getting in the way or just not refined enough or whatever. They make it sound great, of course, in the marketing video, right? But well, you're probably too young to remember this, but right, back in the 80s, right? It was, personal robots were like, going to be the future, right? That was the future. Everyone was going to have a personal robot. Yeah. And, everyone thought, oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic. You have this home robot, that wanders around, it brings you your beer and it plays music. Well, back then, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have the connected. Nobody had thought about that sort of stuff, but it would, it'd play your favorite music and, I don't know, it would sweep and dust and do all sorts of, weird and wonderful things, and now I'm just thinking, like, I used to believe that was possible. Now I'm thinking it's just probably not. Yeah. Not for the foreseeable future. It's just like I'll whack a figure on. I'll say 20 years, like I did with the chip printer, right? I'll whack a number on that, and like it's just. Well, I feel like all of those things, it's going to be too annoying.
Right. All of those things, all of those predictions are always like over the top, right? But eventually things become much more subtle, right? It's not like...
Of course.
We don't have... Like I think about like watching like sci-fi and stuff like that. There's always these big consoles and, or if you like look at old Back to the Future 2 and stuff like that, or I was rewatching... what's that Schwarzenegger movie where they're on Mars?
Right, yes.
Total Recall, right? They have like...
Total Recall.
Payphones that are video, right? And it's just like it doesn't really jive with they took what they have and then they made these predictions based on extensions of that. Yeah. Like, oh, of course you'd like to see someone's face. And the truth is we have that. I use it all the time now. I use Skype and I use Google Hangouts, but it's just subtle. Mm-hmm. It's built into my laptop, it's built into my phone. I Skype with my nephew. Like it's like these things are they're here, right? It's just like, but it's not with fanfare. It's not like a standout new thing. It's just, it's just here, And I think the same thing for like robotics. Like your car is going to be a robot, or your car already is a robot technically. And it's going to be robotic before you have a servant, a robot butler, right? I think that that's ultimately what's going to end up happening. And it's just oftentimes, I think even with glass, right? It's technology looking for a solution instead of is that how it goes?
Yeah,
it's just wanting to use the technology and then trying to shoehorn it into problems that don't necessarily exist, right? Same thing here. Uh-huh. Like I think about glass, and one of the things that they touted about it a lot was like life logging. Well, there's actually a product out there called Narrative, and if you look at it, that's what it is. I mean, it sits on your shirt, and I met when I was out in San Francisco, I met Justin, this guy who had it. And it just sits on your shirt, and I had glass on. He's like, yeah, well, I've been recording this whole time, and no one even says anything because it's just a little square that sits on your shirt. It's not like, it's not in your face. It's subtle.
Does it record audio or video or what?
So the way it works, it's like it's actually pretty smart. It's like every 30 seconds, it just takes a quick shot just to kind of remind you where you are, and then it backs it up to like, I think through your phone, it backs it up to a cloud server, and then basically it's like, when like you're at the end of the day, it's like, what the hell did I do today? You can just go back through and I'm like, I have a terrible memory. That's the kind of good thing it's good for. And then if you like tap and hold it, it'll do like a 30-second video or something like that.
Oh, I got it. Right.
But it's just like, it's more subtle technology that makes more sense. I mean, like for that one thing, it makes a lot of sense. Yep. So. Well,
this is a product idea that I had years ago before all the... before smartphones and everything else. It was I would like it was a similar idea, right? It'd sit on your shirt or it'd be like a little thing that sits in your pocket or something like that. And I couldn't figure out how to do video. That was too hard back then. But I thought it would record audio every day, 24/7, and it would compress everything. Super compress it, blah blah blah, and then so you can actually, if you actually forgot what you said during the day, or you could just talk. You could just like, I've got to remember to do this, and it would, actually capture that.
I'm predicting Dave is in a rough relationship at this point. Maybe he was getting caught up and saying things that he doesn't remember saying. It sounds like that kind of device.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I wanted it for like just capturing ideas.
Right.
Because I've got one of those, note apps on my phone, like supposedly, like if you got an idea, you can just put it down like a Post-it note style thing, right? And I never use it because it's just like,
it's not in the flow of your life, it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. So I couldn't be bothered. Whereas if I can just say, oh yeah, that's a good idea, that's it, and it's captured. I know it's captured. I don't have to worry about it,
Yep.
And yeah, that was sort of the idea. I don't know if anyone's ever done that, but then then it becomes an information sorting problem.
Exactly.
You can design the hardware to record it and compress it. No problems whatsoever, and get a day's battery life out of it. That's or even a week. That's no problem. But yeah, how do you analyze the info? That's like, yeah.
Right.
You'd have to have speech recognition, and then that'd have to be, it'd have to be auto-uploaded to your PC, and then it'd have to automatically process it, because you could speech process inside the device. That'd take too much power, blah, 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 blah,
And it's interesting these days, too, because just how the constraints have changed as well, right? Because these days, the constraints are not storage, right? Storage is super easy these days, and even moving to video, it's not easy, but it's easier with the amount of, CCD sensors that are out there and stuff like that. It's just I think power is probably one of the biggest ones.
Power is everything. This is going to be the next revolution in the smartwatches, right? Smartwatches have failed. They've basically, everyone's tried them. Apple's tried them. Everyone's tried them. They're basically all failed, right? They're gimmicky because their battery life is shit. They're trying to do too much. And the reason is because they want to do everything in the watch. They want to process. So they've got big-ass processors in there, and they're doing everything. Well, that's the wrong way to go about it. The next generation of smartwatches, which maybe have a chance of succeeding, is a much longer battery life, because there's basically bugger all processing in them. All they do is act as a terminal for your smartphone, right? So all it does, it doesn't process anything. All it does is just, sends key presses back. It doesn't even process the key presses on there. It sends it back to your phone and all that sort of jazz. And it just acts as like a dumb terminal. Kind of thing. So no heavy-duty processing on there. So
right. Well, and at a certain point,
acts as like a video screen and a just like just like back in the 70s, right? Where, like you had terminals. Like
your phone is your mainframe.
Computers. Your computers didn't do anything. Right. They didn't do anything processing-wise, and everyone's trying to do that. They're trying to do all this heavy-duty processing inside a freaking watch. It's just not possible.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I think that's one of the biggest shifts that I see. It's like, especially in terms of like thinking about developing products and thinking about where technology is going in the future, and it's all still it's going to be based on the smartphone forever, right? I mean, not forever, but it's like you have large battery pack with large processing power with unbelievable networking capabilities. It's like, okay.
And phones are getting bigger. Everyone's getting these phablet things, right? These phone tablet, bloody 6-inch phablet. No. I reckon my current one's too big. It doesn't fit in my bloody pocket.
Yeah.
My 4-inch Nexus.
Right. Yeah. You'll need to wear a mini backpack to carry your phone.
It's just, it's
European carry-all.
Is it
Man
almost
bag.
like an unsolvable problem currently? Because people want to do all this shit, but they don't want the inconvenience. Yet they want yet they don't want to have to charge their battery twice a day. You've got to at least get a full 1 day's battery life out of your smartphone. My wife's current new one I bought has got 2 days full battery life out, like doing everything. And they're going that way. They're making them a bit thicker because they need to put bigger batteries in them.
Well, yeah, because batteries aren't getting any better, unfortunately. That's kind of the lagging thing.
I know. And, you can squeeze, but even if they get like a 50% improvement in battery life, it's still not staggering.
Yeah.
And we're reaching the limits of how much processing power you can get for a given power you can get for a given amount of power consumption, right?
Yeah.
And it's the curve is flattening out on these sort of things, and I don't know. I just can't see any magical way forward for these types of devices.
Well, my solution is have a spare battery, sitting around.
Yeah, right.
Carry around 16,000 milliamp hours with me.
I was going to do a debunking video. Someone pointed me to a Kickstarter campaign of like a watch, like it's like a band, one of these bands. It's like a power band, and it's got like a solar cell on it, and it powers the internal rechargeable battery so that you can power up your phone. It's like bullshit. It's just complete utter bullshit. You can't get enough solar power in there to, charge a piece of wet string.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Anyway.
So speaking of phones, we have two things that I want to talk about. The first is a little selfish. I announced today what the actual project's going to be for Contextual Electronics, because that just started.
Right.
People can sign up now. But actually,
it's going to be a mobile phone.
It's actually not going to be a mobile phone. It's actually because I have too many mobile phones sitting around that are just like I don't know about you. Do you have a graveyard?
Yeah, there's a graveyard.
Yeah, so I have a graveyard, and I also work remotely. And so what I'm doing is I'm like, well, I can't afford one of those telepresence robots, but I can make a little cart for mine. And so it's a little robotic cart for a smartphone that the smartphone can also control. And so motor drivers and battery controllers and wireless
so it uses
and
the
sensors.
It's wireless, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That's a fairly decent project. Are you going to develop it yourself, or are you going to use existing libraries and things like that to?
Well, the big thing
there's
is
quite a few people who've done those.
Yeah, no, of course. No, the idea is to build. I mean, we're going to build on top of some stuff, but the big thing is, design the battery charger circuit and lay out that board, and basically, even if we're replicating some things, that's okay. It's about learning, right?
Right.
I think the higher level stuff, the software side, obviously, that'll be leaning on others, but and so that's kind of the interesting thing too is looking at what's available in the marketplace and actually. Building around that, right? Because that's what a lot of people do. We design around development boards, and we design around a lot of other things like that, and just kind of balancing all those things. So yeah, I'm excited and
cool. That's interesting. Are you going to actually design it before you start, or is it going to be and as you go?
No, it's as you go, because the big thing, the big change is that. So the big thing is really like we're only going to pick one thing to work on it to start with, and so like that's probably going to be the battery circuit to start with, because that's kind of a definable problem, and we can test it once the board gets back in, stuff like that. And then as the board goes out for fab, we can also start working on another module. That's the kind of the idea. So it's all parallel development, just like any other electronics design. Like basically, that's the difference between the old contextual electronics and the new one.
Got it.
To be completely honest, I've never talked about this before. So I forget why. I was thinking about telepresence solutions, right? Because I work remotely, right? I work out in California a lot of the time now, and I'm on video conferences all the time, and like it's annoying, right? I mean, it's just stuff that people have to deal with in telecommuting age, and I was thinking about like interesting things. One idea was like a blimp, like making like a blimp and maybe trying to make like really light electronics with like a projector. And I saw that actually Samsung did that at a show, but the real problem there is that you need helium, and that's expensive, and the balloon dies over time. So that's tough. Quadcopters are too noisy, stuff like that. And so this is just a compromise, really, just to have something to build that could be, a testing ground. Because if you build a platform, you can build on top of it. But one of the things that I couldn't stop laughing. I'm even laughing already.
It's going to be funny, folks, I'm sure.
No, I mean, it was stupid. It was so stupid. So I was looking at these smartphones, and I'm like, okay, I can do something with this. I can definitely have like a Skype into a phone, whatever. But I imagined walking into a meeting and then being like, oh, is everybody here? And like, oh, no, Bob's coming in, and he's bringing Chris with him, right? And thinking like, oh, he's going to bring this little cart in with a phone on it. But instead, building the phone into like a stuffed stuffed animal, like a bear, and like being in a meeting where your face is on a bear, and like having these serious business conversations. Well, and then having they have to respond to the bear. I know I sound like an insane person right now, but like just
this is not a new idea. You had this idea a year ago.
Did I really? Did I talk
you told
about
me about it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you told me about it.
Did I talk about it in the show?
It was a secret squirrel thing. We were gonna. No.
No. That's right. We were talking. That's right. Yeah. So you and I were talking. Oh, cat's out of the bag. Sorry, Dave.
No. Yeah, I know.
No, that's right. No, we were gonna do that for an April Fool's joke. That's where it came from.
Okay, let's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna do like a Kickstarter campaign, weren't we?
Yeah, we ran out of time. That's what it was. Okay.
And who did we contact? We tried to contact. Who did we try and contact? And we couldn't get them to be involved in time.
Oh, I don't remember.
We wanted to make it.
Maybe it was Kickstarter. I don't, or maybe Indiegogo. I don't know.
Kickstarter, or was the Australian Possible, or something
like that. Oh, that's what it was. Possible.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was the Possible website. So we tried to contact the CEO.
I forgot
of
where
Possible
that came from. Yeah. And so that's actually right. So a year ago, that's what kicked off this idea. Thinking about telepresence stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's actually taken form as a real thing. Now, of course, I could try and build a bear over top of a robotic cart, and it would move around. But
didn't you order a bear? Didn't you order a bear on Amazon? Because it was so close to April Fool's, and we were going to do it in 48 hours or something.
Yeah.
We were going to do this mock-up, and it was just an impossible schedule.
No, I didn't order a bear because I had a stuffed animal here that my dog chews on. I was just going to use that.
Right.
But yeah, we were cracking up thinking about, hey Kickstarter, today we're here to announce what was it? We had a stupid name for it too.
We had a stupid name, didn't we? Yeah, this was. Was it last year or the year before?
No, it was last year. Yeah.
Right.
This is all just like inside joke now. It's stupid, but I don't know.
I know.
Every time I start thinking about like walking to a conference room and like even better, like you walk in and be like, oh well, the boss is on the video conference, and then like someone like turns the chair around, Yeah, it's just a bear sitting
there. It's the bear with the phone with the
a face. It's got to have a face, right?
Yeah.
Everything about that makes me laugh. Like.
I know. It's great. I thought it was a great idea at the time, and I thought, yeah, let's do it. We had 48 hours left or something.
Yeah.
Can we do it? Can we mock up something? Yeah, I can rush to the toy store and buy a bear, and I've got an old phone, and we can,
Yeah.
And yeah.
So the idea, though, for at least for contextual electronics, it's like even if the cart doesn't work out, or if the phone can't properly connect, stuff like that. The idea is, it's all module based now. So, the battery stuff can be reused, motor stuff can be reused, micro stuff can be reused, all that stuff, right? And that's just how we operate. So, like people reuse their pieces all the time, and it's good. You can just kind of build up this library of it's like a stable of sub projects that you can reuse on other stuff. So that's kind of the new method.
Got it.
So yeah. So that was the one thing.
Speaking of Kickstarter campaigns, this is brilliant. Is it new? No, it's been out for a while. November 18th, right?
Yeah.
There's a new crowdfunding site, folks. It's called Work Harder.
Instead of Kickstarter, it's Work Harder. Yeah.
Work Harder, and just watch the video. Just watch it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's got like
Can
Reggie
we tell
Watts.
them the premise, or should we let them?
No. Just let them all do it. It's a spoof. It's a good spoof, though. I liked it.
Watch it, folks. Yeah, it's great. Anyway.
The other thing I want to mention about phones, because I said there's two things about phones. One was my thing. The other was I looked back on the list. This was about like 21 days ago now. But the talk that Bunny and Zobs did at the Chaos Communication Congress. It was about the Gankai phone, and I just wanted to call out how brilliant this post. Obviously, we've had Bunny on the show before, brilliant guy. Me and Dave were talking about before. We're like, what drives these guys? That's ultimately what I was thinking too. It's just like, holy crap! Like if you look at like the ROM dumps they're doing.
They get so much done in the amount of time that they do. It's just they must. Well,
I mean,
not
they talk about it being it's a
this.
Multi-year project right now, but basically, it's such a well written and interesting post. I highly recommend it. But the basic premise is they one of the chips out there, the Mediatek 2620, I think it was. I'm struggling to find the link now. But basically, over in China, you can get schematics and all this information for phones, and that's how they build like a wide variety of interesting low cost phones. Is basically it's like a starter pack with all this quote unquote illegal information that's out there. And I say quote unquote because I don't know. But basically they started taking that and then trying to reverse engineer it, because there is a decent enough amount of information out there. They took it and then tried to start finding a way to access this low cost chipset, because then that could produce a lot of interesting things. So
they're basically trying to steal. Well, steal is the wrong word, but open up a closed design from a Chinese chip maker. It's kind of ironic.
I don't know if is Mediatek Chinese. I don't know if they are. But
are they?
It's definitely low. Whatever it is low cost, right? So he talks about it's the 6220 MT6220. He says 364 megahertz, ARM7, 8 megabytes of RAM, and then SPI I2C LCD controller.
All the jazz, and they can buy them $3 in single quantities.
Well, and GSM's the big one, I think. I think GSM's probably the most important thing. So, but yeah, $3, right? That's how they had the $12 phone that they wrote about a long time ago. So, and we talked about that on the show a while ago. But yeah, I mean that's crazy, right? If you have that becomes if that chip ever did become opened up, right? Why do you need other chips, right? I mean that's kind of what it comes down to, and that's why they're doing it. So it's very interesting. And and the other really interesting thing about this is obviously Bunny did the hacking the Xbox as well, but it's kind of like they kind of do this legal jujitsu. I was saying kind of like because of this and this precedence and it was kind of I could kind of see Bunny sitting there like don't sue us because they're publishing some stuff that obviously they don't want Mediatek doesn't want published because it's not public and you have to sign all these NDAs and stuff. But at the same time,
and he's saying here in the article that you can basically only get it if you buy or speak Chinese.
Right,
that's, pretty much it. Yeah. So, it basically is limited to the Chinese market. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, and I mean that enables a lot of things over there, right? Like, I mean, if you look at the availability of low cost phones and stuff like that, but it's kind of crazy. One thing he does call out at the end of the article, and there's also a talk that we can post in there, and I think we posted that on the forum when that was up there. It's also known as Fernvale. I think that's the actual project name.
Okay. Yeah.
But Seed Studio has a GSM plugin now. I think it's a shield that goes on the Arduino. And actually, I got to see that when I was out.
A few people have done these. Jonathan Oxler from Freetronics, he did a GSM Arduino phone as well.
Oh yeah.
Which I showed at the previous Maker Faire or something. Yeah.
Okay. How much does it cost, though? I mean, I think that's the main thing.
It was, it wasn't designed to be low cost. None of these Arduino things are particularly really ultra low cost. They're all sort of, just a fun, thing to buy and hack around with, right? So I don't know, it might cost $40 or $50 or something.
I don't think. I think no, that's the thing. Like this new one, the seed one it's using the Mediatek as well. So it's like got all the same stuff.
Well, how much does it cost? I'm
trying to find it now.
Right. Well, Seed Studio usually still sell stuff reasonably cheap, but
yeah. I mean, Seed's kind of like the. I think about them as kind of like the maker window into the East kind of thing. It's like They take a lot of this technology, they make it friendlier. They help to manufacture it, they help to procure it, that kind of thing. And maybe you can't buy it. I don't know. I can't seem to find it, but it does have a MediaTek thing on it. So, and I mean, and that's a good service, and it's worth paying that to see. They do good stuff there. So, can't seem to find the dollar amount. So, but yeah, Bunny does mention that one as well. So that kind of helps to open up that. It's like it's like you they have like an abstracted interface. Then you can
found it.
Oh,
$60 US.
Oh, well, I guess I was wrong.
Oh, sorry. No, that's GPRS Shield. Oh, doll.
Next week on the Amp Hour, Dave and Chris Google for stuff.
No, it's a GSM Shield. Yeah, it's a GSM Shield.
Let's see.
So I don't know if it's the one you're talking about.
I'm just gonna read the wiki page here. Open source, high performance for wearables and IoT. It's based on the Mediatek 2502.
No, I don't know.
High
if this
performance
is based on the
Wi-Fi MT5931 and GPS chipsets MT3332. So yeah, it's got a bunch of crap on there.
Right.
So interesting.
Yeah, sure, it's not the right one. Anyway.
Oh wait.
He's found it?
Oh, it's 80. Oh my god. Yeah, it's $80.
$80. There you go. Like I told you, it wouldn't be cheap. None of these things are. Like they're not just rock bottom. They're designed as just fun things which people hack around with. So they're not dirt cheap, right?
Yeah, it's interesting too because I really didn't have much exposure to the whole GSM network thing. Like CDMA was what I started with, and so I didn't really ever use SIM cards or anything like that. And it's interesting to me too because I just never really thought about the fact that you could just get a card and make a device that has.
I've developed GSM cards before. GSM
you have
modules?
Really?
Yeah. Altium we did GSM Shield. Similar sort of thing, right? They weren't called Shields. They were
right. But like
the
like PC104 type stuff, or
no, it was the custom Altium.
Oh, we
custom
talking
Altium
NanoBoard?
Connector.
Is it NanoBoard?
NanoBoard, yes, it's a plug-in.
The most useful $4,000 kit you could ever buy.
Yeah, exactly. And we did a GSM Shield for that, right? Yeah. I designed a GSM thing for it, and went through like 6 revisions or something. It was ridiculous.
What was the hard part about it?
Oh, it's the hard part was getting information on the chipset and stuff like that. With all the NDA bullshit and all that sort of
interesting
jazz. And then they'd be too expensive, and then they'd discontinue that model. Right? We go, this one we can get this. It's a reasonable price, module, and no, they've just discontinued it. Oops. Okay, let's redesign the whole bloody thing. We have to go to another manufacturer because they completely changed it.
I guess
have to get them to customize it for us because they customized the firmware in it because it didn't allow us to access it the way we wanted to access it or something. I can't remember the exact details now, but they wrote some custom firmware for it, and it was buggy, and it was a development nightmare. It really was.
Yeah, I guess it is probably a pretty small subset of people that are using those chipsets because they're so tightly controlled in the first place, and I think we've talked about it on the show before too about like there was that what you claim to be made up, but the statistic I saw where it was like 60 or 80% of phone designs are just straight from the reference design type of thing. I mean, just the importance of reference designs, and that could obviously fit into this as well because just how difficult it is to.
Yep.
Man, their turn times have to be crazy too, like 6-month design cycle type things, and
bonkers.
And
ultimately we did get a public demo going. We displayed it at the one of the trade shows I went to in the US where we had a stand, but we didn't actually release it because we just had too many supply chain hiccups, firmware sourcing, data issues and bugs, and also it's just a pain in the ass. Yeah. It really was.
Well, hardware, right?
Yeah. But anyway, we did get it working, so we had it on the stand. There's probably photos out there of the stand. We set up this demo where you can, we put big, this huge stand where the board was on there, and you can send an SMS to our, NB 2000, and and it'll pop up on the LCD, and here's all the code which does it, and blah blah blah. Look how easy it is to develop for GSM, and
right.
Yeah. That was the idea.
That's another good example, right? It's like that's like a technology looking for a solution type of thing where like these days they're like, yeah, just like tweet to us and we'll show it on our LCD at this show, right? It's like
right, yeah.
I mean, like
I know.
obviously
it's smart. This was
it's not like
this was
not
like
the same thing,
six years ago, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
okay,
yeah, it would have been quite a while back now.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, I've been working here I haven't worked at Altium for 3.5 years, so. And then I worked at Altium for 4 years, and it was at the early stages of that. So it would have been 6 odd years ago. So Yeah, and back then it was hard. I guess now it's easy, right? Every man and his dog's doing a bloody GSM Arduino shield. Right?
Well, I don't think it's easy still, but I mean, maybe more prevalent.
Anyway, it's done. Well, it's done, right? You can just go out and buy it, and there it is.
Right.
Basically, anyone can just send an SMS to their Arduino, and it pops up on an LCD with 10 lines of code, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's still. I mean, it's still hard to get all that stuff connected, but there's definitely more resources than there were. It's always the people that start. That's always the hardest thing. The ones that are blazing the trail.
The ones that pioneer.
Yep, definitely.
Yep. You want to know what's hard?
What is hard?
Landing a spacecraft on Mars. That's hard.
That is hard. I got to see that live once when you thought you were seeing it live at some fancy party. And
yeah, rub it in.
I'm never going to let you live that one down. I'm going to a fancy party. You only get to watch it on the internet.
And it was like delayed by 15 minutes or
I
something.
know, it was great. Yeah.
Anyway.
What else is hard is landing a rocket on a flotilla or a floating ship or whatever it is, a drone ship. Did you see that thing?
Didn't it? Well, it made a hard land. It didn't blow up, did it?
I don't know. I just saw the vine. There was a vine, like one of those moving Twitter thingies where it was just like a short video, and it's just
right, yeah,
from the ship. You didn't see that?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm looking at a thing. There seems to be lots of explosion-y type things happening.
Yeah, if you go to the SpaceX tweeted and it said like better luck next time or something like that, and basically like you see this light coming in, and then it's like, holy crap, that's a rocket. It was just coming in. It was coming in diagonally. Basically, I think it ran out of hydraulic fluid or something like that. But it was
right. Oh yeah,
awesome.
I'm actually watching the thing you talked about now. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, smack, boom.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so it almost got there.
Yeah, I mean, it's progress, right? I mean, like, it's...
totally.
It's like, you see that or it burns out the atmosphere,
That is not a fail, right? That is not like a rocket blowing up on the launch pad.
Right.
That's like a different kind of fail. That's a successful fail, almost.
Right, yeah, it's a move of progress. It's getting there.
Yeah. And I think they know exactly what went wrong, and,
Yeah, yep.
Anyway...
So Mars, though, you said something about Mars.
Mars is hard. Yes, back in 2004, they landed the Beagle 2, which was the European Space Agency's probe to try and search for life, and it famously crashed. They just didn't hear from it. They don't know what happened to it. It was part of the Mars Express mission. Yeah, you never phone, you never visit.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. And,
waves of guilt are flowing over me right now.
So it was part of the Mars Express mission. It had this little lander, the Beagle 2 it was called, and it was supposed to search for signs of life, hence the name. Darwin, Beagle.
The ship. Yep.
Anyway, the ship. And, it was like, and it was coming through the atmosphere, and they just never heard from it again. Because, after it landed, it was supposed to, lift up its antenna and talk, and phone home. And, I mean, if it's easy for ET to do it, I mean, it should be.
Seriously, you did it with a
using a
speak and spell and a saw blade and what else?
That's a saw blade, that's it.
Yeah. Umbrella? Was there an umbrella involved?
Yeah, umbrella, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, classic. Oh, man, I remember watching that as a kid, and I'm going, oh, that was so shit. And like even when I was 10 years old, I just knew that was garbage.
Yeah,
when
right.
83. Yeah, I was about 10 years old or something. Watching ET and no.
Yeah, it really scared the crap out of me.
Oh, scared the crap out of you?
Yeah, I was weird. I was afraid of weird things as a kid. So
that's weird.
Yeah, sorry. We all got things, man. We all got things.
So they tried to land this Beagle 2, and it went through the atmosphere and everything was looking good, and they just never heard from it, never phoned home, and they just I don't think they ever came to a real conclusive conclusion about what actually happened. Whether or not they had a decent theory that was backed up with any sort of live telemetry or anything like that.
Right,
I don't know. I'd have to go back and rely on memory here, but yeah. Anyway. They've found it 10 years later. The Mars the high-rise camera on the Mars the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that's still there. It's the best camera we got. But it's been and mapped the planet like 50 times or something. It just keeps remapping it, and it's got this high res camera on it. And they found the thing on the surface, and they thought it had like crashed into a million pieces, or like the parachute failed to open or something like that, and it just slammed into the And no, but they found it, and it looks like it actually soft landed properly, and it deployed 4 of its 5 solar panels. So one of the solar panels, it looks like one of the solar panels got stuck, and what was under that solar panel, or the panel that didn't open, it was the antenna that was designed to pop up and then phone home. So it was like, no.
That's pretty close,
Murphy
right?
Gets you
1 out of 5
time, right? Exactly. And Murphy says, "Oh, it had to be that one, that had the antenna under it or whatever,
right.
And
Space is hard, man.
I know.
Yeah.
And somebody on Twitter said some poor guy at the European Space Agency copped a lot of flack for the failure on that thing, and apparently it worked. And it was something else simple that failed.
Yeah.
Or something, and the antenna was ready to phone home, and I landed, but no, the antenna was bloody covered by a metal shield or something. So I was
right. Deflected. He was phoning Jupiter instead.
Oh, poor little Beagle.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's fascinating that they actually found it 10 years later. That's great. I love it.
Definitely. There's been a lot of good space stuff lately. I don't know I keep seeing this thing from Elon Musk, right? There's a rocket thing, and obviously we talk about him a lot on here as well. And no, he's never coming on the show. Come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest, folks.
Yep, let's be honest. Yep.
Yeah.
We're nobody.
But yeah, the internet solution funding Mars, right? So basically, they're talking about like satellite internet, basically, and using that as a way to fund the Mars mission. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that thing, but what ultimately I come away from that is like, we should just kind of wait for him to figure out the next big problem. And he's like, oh well, hunger. Oh yeah, he'll take that one on next, or
right, yeah, kind of important ones.
Yeah, right. So, I don't understand like how the like we talk about power on here too, right? So like I don't understand how the power for something like that would work. Right, like even if you have low Earth orbit and stuff like that, I always think about like satellite phones and everything else. It always seems like those things need massive batteries in order to transmit.
The satellites you're talking about?
Well, I was thinking satellite phones, right? So the satellite themselves, I'm sure they could have solar panels, stuff like that, but I don't understand.
They have oh god, what's the acronym? They have the nuclear the nuclear energy decay, right? And they use that to warm up a thing, and that generate, and then that warms up a healthier device, apparently, like effectively, and you can generate like 50 watts or something. So these are satellites and space probes. They all use these. I should know this. It'll hit me in a minute.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the
the end of the show, Dave will be like, flobber.
Nuclear energy probe. I'm googling it. Yeah.
Well, anyways, the thing that I don't really care about.
Radioisotope thermoelectric generator. Yes, that's it. First Google hit.
What is the acronym?
It's an RTG. Radioisotope thermoelectric generator. So it uses the radioactive decay of some element with a Seebeck effect. Just the regular Seebeck effect.
Just to
healthier
get
device,
just generating
a pretty
from
good
heat,
one.
Right? Yep.
Yeah, just because like cold space, so you got warm inside the spacecraft because you got the radioactive decay, right? So you get warmth from the radioactive decay, and of course the vacuum of space is very, very cold. So that's exactly what you want for the Seebeck effect to work. Hot on one side, cold on the other. You get heat transfer. Boom! They can generate about 50 odd watts, I think, for 30 years or something with 2 grams of weapons grade plutonium or something.
Plutonium.
Yes,
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think that
a pellet? Here it is.
Yeah.
A pellet of initial output is 62 watts, which I guess decays with time. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's not too bad. I don't know about
Yeah.
if
Anyway,
you need to transmit down to the
that's
surface.
a very awesome way. It's an awesome way to do it because, you don't need much weight at all. It's bugger all weight, right? It's like tens of grams or a kilo or something. It's not much, and it just continues producing heat for like 30 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, that's not what I was thinking though either. I mean, I was thinking more on the transmit side.
That was just a
if I want a cell phone,
technical.
I don't know. Maybe it
Sorry.
wouldn't be for a cell phone, but like if I wanted a cell phone that was going to have connectivity up to a satellite, it would be a lot of power to do that, right? I mean, like that's what I was getting at.
Oh well, satellite phones are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but they got those huge ass antennas and they got like big battery packs. I mean, like I don't know, maybe with the trend towards.
I don't know the battery life of one of those satellite phones because they're normally designed for like single use, for like single emergency kind of use.
Yeah, right. Yep.
It's not like you're making, like you have to phone home to your mum. Yeah, I'll be, hi mum, I'll be, and you talk for an hour, right?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
So obviously,
Google
long-time listeners know I know very little about space. Dave likes talking about space, but we don't know tons about it. But the one thing that I love that I learned in school is that when you're learning about like the concept of ground, and one of my professors was like, okay, so you call it ground, that's cool. What do you do when
ground is in earth ground, mains earth ground.
What do you do when you're a satellite? It's like, oh. It's like, maybe it's floating ground. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was
it's a falling ground.
Falling. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, falling at the
because space probes don't float; they fall.
That's right. They just fall.
They just fall at the same rate as the Earth happens to be rotating under them.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. That's always a tough concept when you're learning though, like the whole Earth and ground and everything like that.
Yeah, but that comes down to systems engineering, right? I mean, technically, the Earth is just hate to use that word floating, but right, it's an isolated system as well, right?
Yeah, right.
If you look at it from the scale of a planet. Right? It's just, right?
Right. Yeah, would you call it Mars ground when you're on Mars?
If you had a giant system, well, this is like a standard engineering exam thing. Calculate
right. Let's do a ground tree.
Calculate the capacitance between the Earth and the Moon. It's a standard like engineering exam trick question. Well, it isn't a trick question.
That one. You just set it up as like parallel plates. You assume that like each one's...
well, no, you set it up as a sphere. So there's formulas for the capacitance between two spheres. Right?
Oh, this would have been a physics class, not electronics.
Probably, right?
Yeah, physicists love that crap.
Yep, exactly.
Imagine the entire universe is a perfect sphere, right?
Yeah.
Just for the equations to work.
Oh, I'm going to have to link in... Oh, you've just reminded me of a video. Lawrence Krauss.
Lawrence Krauss, former
spherical chicken.
Yeah, right.
Yes, former alumni of your
of my alma mater.
I'm going to search for spherical chicken. Hang on, I'm going to YouTube search.
Is that about the joke?
Spherical chicken.
There's a joke about perfect. That's like something about a cow, and then a physicist tells it with the. Imagine the cow is a perfect sphere with milk going all directions or something like that.
Yeah. Trust me, I actually tweeted this talk a couple of months back.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Trust me, it's brilliant. Watch it. Here we go. The Secret Life of Physicists. So it's not, I was wrong on the search term for spherical chicken.
Yeah.
But here we go. So you'll love this. Trust me, it is worth... It goes for an hour, sorry, but it's worth 1 hour of your time. And Lawrence Krauss explains how physicists how they actually come up with ideas and think of things, and how actually thinking of things like a cow, that joke, and he uses that joke of the cow. Well, the cow, and the engineer and a physicist walk into a bar and one or whatever, no, an engineer and a physicist go to a farm and the cow hasn't been producing milk, and and he asks the farmer asks an engineer to solve the problem and a physicist to solve the problem, and the physicist, of course, starts, and the joke is, well, imagine the cow as a spherical,
perfect sphere,
a perfect sphere, right? Yeah. And he goes on to explain how that, and he goes on through the whole lecture to then come to the conclusion how thinking about a cow as a sphere is actually a useful tool that can be used to actually determine how old the universe is, or something like that. And he actually goes through the entire thinking. Wow. And this is how physicists actually come up with their theories. They don't sit there and do all the math. They use, these abstract, the universe is a sphere, okay, or or a galaxy is a sphere.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Watch it, folks. Trust me, the best hour of your life you'll ever spend.
That might be kind of a stretch, but okay, yeah, definitly, maybe physics related.
Anyway,
maybe we can constrain it to that. System design, Dave. Let's set the constraints. I don't know about you.
Anyway, Secret Life of Physics.
One of the things I learned at when I was at Keithley, actually, the guys there, and maybe this is part of the physicist thing, but like the mantras. Did we ever talk about that on the show? Like kind of
mantra. What?
Yeah. So we'd be kind of talking and talking. Yeah, mantra is that's a term about like something like a phrase that you repeat to yourself to kind of get in a meditative state, right? That's a mantra.
Mantra is how it's pronounced here. Mantra.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I didn't.
So mantra. Never mind how the Buddhist monks talk about it.
Yeah,
it's a mantra.
Exactly. No.
Right.
Yeah,
not
it's
McDonald's,
like
it's Macca's.
plot,
Macca's.
Macca's. Yeah, no worries.
But a mantra is but basically we'd be talking about things, and these guys would be talking through it, and this is how I would learn from them as well, right? And we'd be talking about kind of concepts and like, oh, well, what happens when there's an impulse at the input to the circuit, right? And well, because V equals L di dt, and because of that, blah 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 blah, right? And basically using formulas as a mantra, and like kind of using these first principles, right? I mean, like obviously there's a lot of these things, right? You could say, oh, because V equals IR, you could say that, but that's kind of ingrained as well. But like these mantras of like using that to then explain a concept, and then like, oh well, because there's inductance and because there's a change in current, this will happen to the voltage, right? It's going to go up or down in this amount of time, right? It's, like fast or slow. It's these very soft and squishy concepts. But then, like, when I think about how that helped me learn more about, like, just kind of this intuitive sense about electronics, that was one of the main things that I point to because you start repeating it in your own head, right? You know what's coming next. They're gonna say, oh well, V equals L di dt, right? And then blah 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 blah. And then you start to kind of formulate these relationships in your mind, especially the time based ones. I think that's particularly helpful. So I don't know if that's any part of the physics thing, but I thought I'd bring that up in case I've never mentioned it here. It's my formative years.
Oh.
I don't know. It's hard to get that intuitive sense, though, right? I mean, like obviously, I'm thinking more about education right now. It's
very hard.
But it's especially thinking about trying to explain electronics to people that are getting started or intermediate stuff like that. It's like, man, so many of these things I forget how much it confused me.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Unless you have that intuitive feel for things, that's what it makes a good engineer appear to be magical, because they can just like pull numbers off the top of their head, or they can go, oh yeah, that'll work or that won't, and they can instantly realize that because they have an intuitive feel for it, And I've done a video on like it all comes down to orders of magnitude, like in engineering, right? Yep. We for ballpark stuff, we all deal with orders of magnitude. Is it like if there's a new Kickstarter campaign that comes up and they go, we can, get charge a battery with this solar panel. And I'm going, no, you can't. Look at the size of it. It's just bullshit, right? I don't even have to do the calculations off the top of my head because I've got an intuitive feel for how much per square area and how much density is in a battery and blah, 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 And yeah, right off the top of your head, you can just feel that. Whereas if you don't have any intuitive feel for that, you go, I don't know, it sounds okay. And you've got to go down, do all that, through the exhaustive calculations to figure out whether or not it's bullshit.
Right.
Right.
Whereas, and that's good. I mean, that's a good thing to do, especially, right? Especially.
Totally.
Especially once you have that intuitive sense, it's even better to confirm it. But I think, doing that up front is good too. So, But yeah, I remember, even thinking about that, like kind of like the back of the envelope type of things, that was another like culture shock when I kind of started to experience that. It's this thing that you see across engineers though too, right? It's because it's verifying assumptions, right? That's kind of the engineering side of things. So yeah, it's something you win over time. I was having a discussion on
it takes time. Yeah, totally.
On Twitter today, right? So I posted a thing about this new electronics program, which looks great. It's called Pirate Electronics. It's like, it's kind of like the web friendliness of Code Academy with, beginner breadboarding type stuff. I mean, like it's beginner stuff. I think there's some Arduino stuff in there too. And it's like, it's beginner content, but it's good to have that because a lot of the times it's about, encouraging people up to the point where they kind of self-motivate and get over that hump. It's like you need to kind of get some of that stuff. But the discussion today was, well, you're not going to learn real engineering from that. And it's like, well, no, of course. I mean, like, you're not going to learn real engineering. You're not going to learn real software engineering from Code Academy either, though. Or those, those boot camps that they do. It's like or even contextual electronics. You're not going to learn everything. It's about getting equipped with the tools. Even college, you're not going to be learning real. You learn real engineering on the job. That's what I think, at least. You have to.
Totally.
And so, but I like this new program. I mean, it's all about kind of getting stepping stones and pushing people forwards to the point where they feel confident enough to dig in and then spend the year or 2 years doing what Bunny and Zobs did. Like that's like the ultimate thing, right? Yeah.
Or confident enough to be sitting in a design review meeting
with Dave
and a company and just like me, I was famous for it, right? I just go bullshit, not going to work, not going to work. Like somebody brings up something and I'll instantly know it's not going to work, right? Because of the intuitive nature you've built up, right, over decades. You just
that's not what I was thinking.
It just,
I was thinking
anyway, I
get to the point where you feel confident enough to sit in a room where Dave is saying bullshit to you.
Right. Yeah.
That's the hard part. That's what you build up to get to the the cranky guy on the other side of the table. Well, that's its own thing.
I hate it when they go, prove it. And I go, do I really have to prove it? It's obviously bullshit. Don't you have any intuition about this sort of stuff?
That's healthy. I mean, that's healthy though, because if you're always just the guy that calls BS, right? Then it's easy. That's a reflex response. I think it's good to once in a while do that as well, right? And you do that. You do that with the videos you do. You do back the envelope calculations, stuff like that.
Oh, I don't even do that. A lot of my stuff is just off the cuff, and I'll just come out with it like. I won't do any calculations to prove whether or not I'm talking crap. I'll just usually say it. And that's why sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I get it wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's just my style.
So, speaking of things that you think are
lack
crap.
Of style. Yep.
Did you see the the internet, folks? All of the internet is Dave's spitting ground. Did you see this Circoid?
Circoid?
It's kind of
pronounce it correctly, man.
Is that not how you say it? I don't know. I
don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a PCB. It's a PCB milling machine, plus solder paste dispenser, plus pick and place. I don't know. It's
didn't we do this a couple of weeks ago? Didn't we do
there's
one
a couple of them. So there's actually two
every
things.
man, his dog's doing one. They're like the 3D printers,
Yeah, no, that's totally true. Someone mentioned that is that like this is kind of the year for that. It's like there's a lot of these. There's the printer machines. There's the what's it called? The one that won the hardware battlefield was that Volterra. and then this circoid is actually like a copper-clad milling. And
Okay. I might be getting a copper-clad milling kit.
Which one?
It's not released yet, so I better not say anything.
Too late.
You got a link? Have you got a link
CIRQUOID.
Right.
CIRQUOID.
Circuit. Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I might be getting a PCB milling machine. It's not. Well, it's a new model. Anyway, it's a new model. That
have you used those in the
yet,
past? I mean, I think I've mentioned that on the show in the past, but
no, I've had demos of them. The companies that come in and demo them at work, and we go, Yeah.
No, I've used one.
Nice.
I used one when I was a Keithley, and no, that was the only time. But I used it a bunch.
Right.
And it's great when you have it. It's fantastic when you're screwed and when you're in a rough spot.
The website doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Circoid.
I might have spelled it wrong.
Oh, yeah. If you're in a rough spot and you need something
there's
done.
No U. Sorry, there's no U in there. CIRQOID. Who doesn't put a U after a Q? Come on, folks.
No, I googled it and it's not coming up. CIRQOID.
.com.
Looks like the website's.
Yeah, I can see it. Anyways.
Right. Oh, you goofed it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I was actually hitting your link.
Gotcha. It's useful to have, right? So I was using it for mostly SOIC parts, basically
right.
A lot of the stuff I was doing was op amp type circuits.
No, the web page is dead.
Resistors.
Yeah, they're good for RF, stuff or just basic surface mount stuff
RF
and things
stuff?
like that.
Why RF stuff?
Because you can leave the ground plane then.
Oh.
You can leave the ground plane there.
Well, you can always do that with Dead Bug Manhattan style. I mean, you could do that too.
Oh, you can, but it's nice.
I
right?
mean, yeah, just because there's a big copper ground plane, that's the reason it's good for RF. Okay.
Well, it's like
you know who likes who likes copper ground planes? RF designers.
Because because these things usually you don't etch away all the dead copper, right? You just leave it floating. Otherwise, it's wasting time. Right. I don't need to, so you leave all this floating copper there, right?
Yeah. You just do the outline of the trace.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I mean, so this is a nice. I mean, it's a nice machine. It's like 2,000 euro for this thing. So it's a
bit pricey.
It's a bit pricey. I think it looks really industrial too. It looks like someone, built a nice looking CNC machine and wrote some decent enough software for it. And then, I've tried milling on my machine. I broke all the bits, but, I was able to generate G code, no problem. I mean, there's stuff out there for that kind of thing. Linux scripts, stuff like that. So, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's I think the thing is, with this one, you're paying for the other stuff too, right? The solder paste and the placement stuff, and it's just I don't know. I think that's not really worth it because
it's trying to be a jack of all trades, and that's never going to work. It's never going to work.
I think that the main the solder paste could work. That would be fine with me if the tool change was easy enough. But the placement thing, it's if I'm milling a board, it's one board. I'm not going to make more than one.
I know. I'm going to hand assemble it, and it's usually not going to have that many parts on it. So
right.
It's just,
and solder paste is nice, but then you still, even when you refill, you don't have the solder mask then to kind of help guide it along. You basically just relying on the flux of the.
You've got to have the right tool for the job, and here it is. Let's change it to you put the syringe and then it goes down, it dispenses a bit of solder paste on there. It's no, why? Just give me my board and I'll hand solder it. By the time you set up the machine to do the solder paste, you could have hand soldered the board. All right.
Yeah. And that's ultimately what it comes down. I mean, I do think that the resolution on this thing is very good. The control looks great.
It looks like a good actual PCB
solid
milling machine, and that's fine. Yeah.
So
I think
be
the one
when you get yours.
I'm going to get costs. Yeah, I think the one I'm going to get's maybe 1,200 or something, or 1,000, or you can buy it as a kit for 600 or something like that. Yeah.
Well, there's other solutions out there. LPKF is out there, but you could spend $10,000 easy on that kind of thing.
They're $10,000 plus.
They do laser cut, I think, as well. So something like that.
Yeah. They can do laser holes and plated holes and all sorts of fancy stuff. And But, okay, well, yeah, no, that's a machine that's ultimately doomed to fail because it's just trying
Not
to
fail,
do
but
too many
maybe
things.
it's not going to be commercial success, but some people will find success in it. You know, like
Well,
I think
some people might like it, but yeah, no, just have a milling machine. That's, do it really good. I reckon there's still a market out there for the kick-ass milling machine, right?
Oh, definitely.
The PCB milling machine, that has the software down pat, and it's just so easy to use, and it's quick and blah blah blah.
I think a lot of that, like other mill has that. A lot of those things, right? They have good support for Eagle. They have good support for Gerbers. It's a smaller bed, but I think they're kind of focusing on that one market. They say they can do other things, like they can do brass and other things, but really their design, their spindle's designed for milling PCBs, and I've seen them before. They're great.
Just do that.
Yeah,
and if it's a reasonable price, then I reckon you can corner a decent market.
Exactly.
For those. Yeah, if you make it cheap enough. I mean, it's, I don't know, but if it's too cheap, it's like the 3D printer, right? It's like that $300 3D printer myth, right? You can't really build a decent 3D printer for $300, right? Yeah, or you guys, you can hand build your own one, right? But like a commercial one, it's just, it's going to be small. It's going to be, there's got to be compromises in there, right? And yeah.
Yeah, man.
Same thing here, probably.
We should end the show today on the ultimate. No, wait, one more thing first. Did you see this key sweeper thing? This was killer too. I know this is the obviously we've had Mike Osman on about a couple times before, and this is like the IT the security side of things, like I forget what they call it. But this was just a killer project. He basically put a keyboard sniffer, the Bluetooth sniffer, inside a wall wart, and it's just really nice, really well done. He goes through all of the packet sniffing and stuff like that, and all of the looking at the different headers that are coming off of this specific keyboard because it's pretty common. But just like the
so it's designed as a spy device. Hence why it's a plug pack, right? Because you can walk into somebody's house, plug in a plug pack into a wall secretly, and they'll think nothing of it because it looks like a plug pack.
Yeah, right. And actually, this uses the Adafruit GSM Shield. That's another reference I saw to GSM Shields recently. Adafruit has one as well. And so it basically can talk. I mean, you could put it in there. It runs power, right? Because it's plugged in the wall, so it's got a switcher doing offline. Yeah. So that powers everything. You don't have to worry about it. Mostly heat is going to be the main thing there, but then it's just about getting everything in there. He's got a Bluetooth sniffer. I think it's the Nordic chipset, and then just an Arduino for like a Teensy for control, and then that GSM Shield. It's just like it's terrifying. It's terrifying, really. I mean, like I know that he did it he did it to show off his skills and everything like that, but it's just like this is super legit. Like this could happen anywhere. Like it's just the accessibility is like really crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool. He's gone to a lot of work there. Yeah. And it sniffs like the proprietary protocols like used on the keyboards and those sorts of, because they don't use Bluetooth. They use their own proprietary, low power protocol-y thing.
Yeah,
right. That's
how
they can get 2 years
band.
battery life. Yeah, that's how they can get 2 years battery life on a keyboard.
Yep.
Right, on a wireless keyboard.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Well, yeah, it's sitting in sleep mode until you hit a key, and then it's like, nope, I'm up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
Yeah, very nice. Awesome. And in other news, Radio Shack went bust.
Well,
that's all we have for today.
It's about to. And now the news.
And now the news. A corporation that's been around for 40 years. We all know to grew and love is just they're down the toilet. Bye bye.
Yeah. It's. But not really. I mean, come on. This is not news. But the thing I wanted to call out that someone posted the eulogy on SB Nation. You posted this.
Oh yes, that was good.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, we'll have to link that in.
I mean, like a lot of it's like just the hiring and working practices they had there, but But like that alone,
this is someone who used to work at Radio Shack and their experience of working in the retail store, and it's just, oh man, it's like horrific.
I mean, when you have a company that's treating their employees like that, it's like, they don't give a crap about their products. They don't care about what they stock in their store. They're just bottom line, right? Bottom line is everything, and it's like,
And even then, they aren't smart bottom line like your former employer, right?
Which one? Danaher,
Papa
right?
Danaher. With their Danaher system, right?
That's true. Right? I mean,
actually, they're a really successful company, right? They really know how to do business. They're ruthless as all hell, but they know it. But they, if you want to buy good shares, right, you buy them because they know how to extract every last cent from a business, right?
Yep.
And but Radio Shack just don't have a clue, right? They're just not only are they bastards, but they're hopeless.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, and I mean, there's other
real funny
confluence of factors there too. It's like, retail in general. It's like, okay, well, we just mentioned Adafruit, right? And it's like, think about where people go to buy electronics these days. It's not a Radio Shack, right? It's online. It's Adafruit, SparkFun, DigiKey, Mauser, everywhere online. You can buy stuff from anywhere. It's just, Radio Shack, when your part of your business is based upon being the last resort,
right?
might be time, folks.
I'm desperate. I'll go see if Rat Shack's got it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mentioned before on the show, like Micro Center in Ohio and around the Midwest. They're kind of, they've taken over. They have they stock a lot of the kits from the online folks too. So that's nice for last minute.
Nice.
Fry's out in California has it. A lot of that stuff too. You guys have Dick Smith still, right? And some of that stuff.
No. Dick Smith sell toasters.
Oh, I thought you had. Don't you have any kind of?
Well, we have J-Car and Altronics as well.
Okay, yeah. J-Car is probably who I was thinking of.
J-Car is the go-to store.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's still some stuff, but it's still pretty much like if you don't know what you're already looking for and you're kind of just browsing into that section, or if you're kind of hard up for a component, you can go buy the blister pack. I did find. Did I tell you? I found the blister pack. It has a place of honor. 99 cents.
With the five resistors for 99
Actually,
cents.
It was 5
Two
diodes, one N914s. I think it was 4 or 5 of them for $1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those were the days. But seriously, like, I can remember doing electronics back in the 70s, right? I was doing electronics back in the 70s, okay? Yep. That's how old I am. And
we know.
Like
you're old, man.
There wasn't much option, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't much option. If you wanted your 4001 IC, if you wanted your couple of 1N914 diodes, you went to your local Tandy store here, as it was, and you bought them in the blister pack.
Yep.
Right? Like, where else would you get it from? Credit cards weren't invented. Online e-commerce wasn't,
Right,
like,
you had catalog, but that would take, 3 weeks or 4 weeks if you got it in time, right?
Right? It's just, no. This was the late 70s, right?
Yep.
And, that's all you could do.
I don't know if you saw Forrest, actually. So Forrest Mims, obviously legendary in the electronics.
Legendary 70s figure, yes.
Yes. Former guest of the show as well. He actually wrote about the 8080, Altair 8080 over on Make and the Make blog.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have to read that. Okay.
I didn't notice it first. I'm like, oh, cool, like an article about this. And I looked at the byline. I'm like,
right.
It's Forrest.
It's Forrest. Yeah, cool.
So, yeah,
I'm going to look at that.
It's good history. So, it's he's got good stuff there. And he writes for them once in a while, too. So, always good hearing from him. All right. Well, I think that's it for this week. I will be in California next week. If anyone's out at, I'll be in Santa Clara at DesignCon, showing off Parts.io, open to the public next week. Dave can finally stop complaining. But yeah, I think the expo tickets are free. So if you want to stop by and see me, I'll have T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I think they are.
Cool, man.
And remember, I think there'll be a prize for somebody who gets the most forlorn photo of Chris on the stand.
Yep, just exhausted.
and no setup photos. I want real, like, telephoto lens shit, right?
Right, like one of those life catchers like we talked about, right? You can just walk by and be like,
right, yeah,
snaps a picture.
And he doesn't even realize it. Yeah.
Or you get a video and just do that thing where, like, you freeze frame, and then I'm kind of like, doing like the derp face, like derp.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Oh, I love it.
Cool,
All
man.
right.
Talk to you then.
Catch you next time.